Hey, what's up guys? It's ElasticSpyder here from Brothers in Arms World of Warships, and today I have the first Russian cruiser review on our channel. This time we are featuring the Tier 8 light cruiser, the Chapayev. So, I really want to do a review on this ship. This is one of the first Russian ships that I've really enjoyed so much. It's really been a pleasure. I certainly did enjoy my time in the Bajoni and even the shores to an extent, but this ship just takes the cake thus far. Can't wait to go up the line even more. But this ship is just so good, and I will go over a few reasons why I think that. So, first of all, let's start with import statistics. As always, I will leave a timestamp in the description. You guys can check out the gameplay if you guys just want to do that and you're not interested in the import stuff. But if you are, stick along, and we will go over the armor layout, whatever you would like to call it. So, if we equip everything here, we see that this is kind of an interesting ship. Not that much superstructure, but we don't really care about the superstructure too much, so we're going to remove that. And we see that the Chapayev has pretty good forward plating armor, as well as in the rear, 25 millimeters all around. This will auto bounce cruiser shells, but not battleship shells. That is definitely a no. So that's good so far in the Chapayev. Taking away the auxiliary rooms, we don't really need that, and I guess the guns as well. We start to see where the citadel is. Now, one thing I want to point out is that usually for this plating here, most of the time on a lot of ships, the plating will cover the citadel a little bit, maybe like 10 to 20 millimeters, depending on the ship and ship type and ship nation. But the Chapayev does not have that. It just has pure citadel belt armor. So that is slightly problematic, and it's only 100 millimeters. So if you angle like this, you will bounce pretty much all cruiser shells, even up to about 35-40 degrees. You will bounce most shells. But as soon as you start giving a little bit more of your side, you will start to eat a lot of damage very, very quickly. So that is something that you do not want to do. Removing the plating, you start to see how big this citadel really, really is. 100 millimeters all the way around, and 25 under the water. The citadel deck's only 50, but with this large of a citadel, my god, it's pretty ridiculous. From your front turret number 1, all the way back to the rearmost turret number 4, excuse me, you have a huge citadel, and it rides so high up in the water. You can, oh my gosh, you really do get citadeled a lot, and I question myself, did I really get citadeled there? How? But when you look at the armor viewer, you can clearly see that you will get citadeled a lot. There is no doubt about that. So now that we know that, it's not looking too good for the ship already, but for tier 8, 37,000 hit points, it's not bad. We already went over the armor. It's that. So artillery. This is where the Chapayev does get a little bit of praise. Is these 152 millimeter guns. You get 12 of them, 3 in each turret with 4 turrets on the ship, both super firing. You get 2 super firing guns in the turrets in the front and 2 in the rear. So that's good. Reload every 8 seconds, and then turret reverse is 22.8 seconds. Dispersion's not bad, 142 meters. The chance of fire is quite ridiculous. You will most likely be setting more fires than the Japanese in this ship, just for the fact that with this 16% fire chance, along with the shells that you just can pump out, you really do just start racking up the damage. The AP is not bad. The penetration does lack over distance. I've been noticing around approximately 11 kilometers, 12 kilometers, you have a very hard time citadeling cruisers. They really have to be full broadside and that sort of thing. But you do decent damage with those guns, and they shoot out to 17.3 kilometer range. I'll get to that in a minute, why that's so important. And they shoot very fast as well, in 950 meters per second. Secondaries, they're kind of a troll secondaries. They have a kilometer per second shell velocity, which is, I don't even know, that's freaking insane if you ask me. So those are kind of funny. You get the stock torpedoes for Russian ships. The 4 kilometer ones are pretty fast, 65 knots. You get 3 on each side, 3 torpedo tubes, and 2 turrets on each side. So yeah, more of a defense mechanism. The AA is okay. I'll give it that. It's okay. Now, you know, granted, I have not spec'd for an AA build. If you do spec for an AA build, that will significantly increase the amount of planes you will be shooting down. Especially with defensive fire going, you really just, tier 8 planes just, they just die. But tier 9, tier 10, you really start to struggle, as you should. Average damage per second, 142 with 3.5 kilometer range. That's where most of your damage is going to come from. If you're looking at the 100 millimeters, they go out a little bit farther but have less damage. So, yeah, there's that. So AA is okay overall. Maneuverability, I would say average again. So a slightly better maximum speed than a lot of cruisers, 33.5 knots. It's certainly better than some, but worse than others. But overall, you will get from point A to point B relatively fast. The turning circle is horrible, though. Horrible. Just to put it in perspective, 890 meter turning circle. Let's check out the Yamato. Yep, you see that correctly, folks. 900 meter turning circle. So the Chapayev, a tier 8 cruiser, has basically the turning circle of a tier 10 battleship. So yeah, that's very bad. When you take a turn, you will be eating a lot of damage. You will be giving a lot of time for people to citadel you. So try not to turn. Rudder shift is okay, 7.7 seconds. Taking a look at something like the Atago, which gets 6.5 second rudder shift, you start to see that maneuverability is not the Russians' thing. But the Chapayev does have something very, very good, which is the concealment. 10.2 kilometer concealment and 6.4 by air. Now, something I want to point out is that you can stealth fire starting at 14.7 kilometers. Looking at row 2, you can see detectability after firing a main gun shell is 14.7 kilometers, so that is definitely good. You have about a 3 kilometer buffer zone between being able to stealth fire and being able not to stealth fire. Moving on to the upgrade path, I would definitely recommend getting the range upgrade first, because otherwise you get 15.8 kilometer range, which, looking at that reduces your buffer zone to stealth fire from 3 kilometers down to 1. And with tier 10 matchmaking a possibility, 15.8 kilometers really is not that much. It really does hurt, especially with tier 10 battleships like the Grosse first. Then I would definitely get the hull. No reason not to. You get more HP, better AA, and slightly better maneuverability. Taking a look at that maneuverability, you get buff to your rudder shift. So I would, even though that rudder shift buff is a very nice addition, I do think that the range is more beneficial. Moving on, let's do the ammunition and consumables first. So I believe that from basically tier 6, I even run tier 5, tier 5 and up. Tier 6 if you're feeling a little ballsy, I guess. If you to run the premium repair party or damage control party, that is, I of course use the credit option you can choose with the select menu, drop down menu. I of course use the credits. Now this is something that I want to point out. I'm going to be posting another Chappy video. It's going to be a ranked game. Just so you guys know, there's a little bit of difference between how I play the ship in ranked and how I play the ship in random battles. So in random battles, I prefer defensive fire because you see carriers more often, at least I do. But in ranked, I've only seen approximately, I don't know, for every 10 games, maybe half of a game. So, you know, very, very small percent chance that I'm actually seeing a carrier, around, you know, 10%, whatever. So it's really, the carriers are almost non-existent, especially in the higher ranks, like tier 5 or tier 6, tier 5, those sort of ranks. So I chose hydroacoustic search, and again, I'll show you in the ranked gameplay why I chose hydroacoustic search over defensive radar. And of course, I use a premium version. Now, something else I want to point out: I use a premium radar. This radar, you also get an extra charge because it is a premium radar, but it reloads in under 20 or 2 minutes. 20 minutes. It reloads under 2 minutes, which is insane. And when you think about this, you get 10.2 kilometer concealment, and your radar goes up to 11.7 kilometers. Think about that. As soon as you get spotted, boom, you pop your radar. You know that it's a destroyer. You know that it's either a destroyer or really very concealed cruiser. Either way, you pop that radar, most of the time it's going to be a destroyer. He's almost dead. I mean, and especially if you're sticking to your fleet, you pop that radar, your whole fleet should be focusing him, and he should die very, very quickly. So, and it reloads super quick, so it's honestly insane with this radar. So that's why I choose a premium radar. Of course, I use main Armament's modification 1, just for the fact that if I do lose a turn, I want it to come back faster, and it also buffs the survivability of that turret. So the other ones are not very useful. I of course use aiming system modifications 1, just to get that dispersion down to that 142 meters. I really don't see a point in main battery traverse because you lose the thing you're good at, which is rate of fire and setting fires, and with this you increase your reload time, so it's kind of counterintuitive. AA guns, you could, if you are going for an AA build, you could do this, but I just prefer the aiming modification just to reduce the fire chance. And if you're really feeling if you're feeling like a troll today, you can slap on those secondaries, and with those 1 kilometer per second secondaries, you can really do some funny work there. I of course use damage control system just to reduce the flood and fire, and I use steering gears just to get that concealment, or that maneuverability, rudder shift rather, down that little bit. Damage control system is also viable. However, I don't see myself burning that often, and when I do, I can, you know, just hit that R key if I so need to. But it's kind of up to you. And then finally, definitely would not recommend target acquisition. This can be countered with Hydro or Vigilance. The other thing is that I really prefer concealment, just because you have that ability to stealth fire. And without this module, as soon as you hit that radar, or as soon as you get spotted, it's more of a toss-up now between, is it a cruiser or is it a destroyer now? Whereas with 10.2 kilometer concealment, you have a very good idea that it is probably a destroyer. I don't choose the steering gears just for the fact that, again, the concealment is so good, and you lose that ability, that buffer zone to stealth fire, and I mean, this would get it down, the rudder shift down to about 5 seconds, which is quite good, very competitive, along with, you know, in terms of going against American cruiser, but I don't know, I just don't see it. I think the concealment is much more worth it. So there's that. Moving on to the captain perks, I prefer basics of survivability, just for the fact that this captain is going into my Moskva, and I want to reduce the fire, or reduce the time that the fire is on me just a little bit. I of course use expert marksman, really the only good perk for the Chapayev or even cruisers in general. Then I chose superintendent for the extra consumables. And of course, when you get to tier 9 and 10, you get that extra heal, which is very, very important. Vigilance is also a toss-up. You can use that. When I get an 18-point captain, I will be speccing into Vigilance, but it is kind of your choice between Vigilance or Superintendent. Moving on to tier 4, we have Demolition Expert. If you are going for an AA build, Advanced Firing Training is definitely a good option. But for the most part, I would definitely recommend Demolition Expert. Get that extra 3 points, 3% chance to fire. And finally, Concealment Expert. Get that concealment down so you can stealth fire, so you can pop that radar as soon as you get spotted, or very close to that. So, yep, that about wraps it up for the import statistics and all of that. I will move on to the gameplay. Alright, so we're at the gameplay now. Looking at matchmaking, I am top tier, so I guess you could say it's slightly biased matchmaking. But this ship does skill very, very well, in my opinion. But there is a carrier in the game, tier 7 Ranger, so this is good. A lot of cruisers. I have been noticing that, and probably about an equal amount of battleships as well, with only 1 destroyer on the enemy team and 2 on ours. So we are playing on the map. I believe this is Shards, one of the new maps. So this is kind of an this is actually, I believe this is one of my first or second times playing on this map, or at least first time on this side. So I'm not too sure where to go. A looks very, very crowded with those islands, as well as C. So I'm really kind of stuck here. So of course, go slowly. I do not want to put myself in a bad position to start off the match. That would almost be criminal. But yeah, as I said with the turning circle in the statistics preview, it doesn't turn very well. It doesn't maneuver very well. So kind of want to take it slow. Don't want to rush things too quickly. I'm trying to decide: do I want to go to B or do I want to go to C? I end up going to C just for the fact that, well, B, there's going to be a lot of ships going in B, just because, primarily battleships as well, because, in fact, that is the most open spot, and battleships do strive more in open waters than they do in closed quarters. So I decide, well, I'm probably going to get Citadel there a lot, so I'm going to go to C and maybe capture C and do some work there. So as I'm steering along, sailing along, this New Orleans gets spotted going to C, as well as a Miyoko going to C. So right now it's me and this York going up against the New Orleans and Miyoko. Definitely an interesting combo. It's pretty even, I would say, but we'll just have to wait and see. So I am taking some pot shots. I do stick around this island for a little bit, of course using the terrain to my advantage. There's no reason not to. Miyoko is playing a little bit of a mind game with me. He's slowing down, speeding up, doing a very good job actually. I have to applaud him for that, because it makes my life all that much more difficult. But I do get spotted there. I do realize that, oh crap, there's a lot of battleships. And as I mentioned earlier, I didn't go to B because I knew there would be a lot of battleships there. So I see that thankfully this Gneisenau is focused on other juicier targets, such as destroyers, battleships, cruisers. So I put myself in a position where I do not want to get hit. Speaking of getting hit, I most likely got hit by that Miyoko. Set me on fire and damaged one of my damn torpedo tubes. But it's okay. It's okay. I repair. I'm behind the island. I should be okay from fires. Again, still using the terrain to my advantage. This is a little bit more risky because I am spotted both by aircraft and by ships. So I just decide, well, no point in giving them free Citadel damage, so I'm going to start moving and support this friendly York because it looks like he needs some help. The AA is not bad. Now you do know that I did say, oh, I use defensive fire in random battles. Spider, why aren't you using defensive fire? And I would say you're right. I should be using defensive fire, but I believe I accidentally I went to click on ranked, but I clicked random or something. Most of the time, though, I do use defensive fire. Definitely recommend it. So, yeah, just to get that out of the way, because I'm sure you guys will, give me crap for that. So, these battleships are in my view range, so I'm gonna start taking some pot shots at them. Something I do want to mention is the AP does do quite a bit of damage to broadside battleships. Now, I'm trying to think about which target I want to set on fire first. I choose the New Mexico just because he is at the tier advantage, or tier disadvantage, I should say. So, of course, trying to set a fire on him, all the while keep maneuvering, keep making my ship very, very hard to hit. This Miyoko is sailing broadside, 7 kilometers. He gets a devastating strike on my friendly York. So this is not good at all. But luckily for me, he does not see me, and I will get some free Citadel shots. Only 2 that time. But it's okay. I have a very good reload at 8 seconds. Another 2 Citadels. So you don't get a lot of Citadels in this thing. As I was saying earlier, or maybe I didn't mention, but sometimes it is hard to get those Citadels. But when you do, you just absolutely delete enemy cruisers. As you saw there, 5 Citadels. So this enemy New Orleans is coming around the corner. Again, semi-broadside. I do pop my hydroacoustic search just for the fact that I'm worried that the Miyoko might have launched torps. I don't know if I was within his arc for torpedoes. I switched to HE because I see that this New Orleans is probably going to kite me, but I should have stuck to AP just for the fact that this carrier does look like he's going to drop on him. So I do get a fire there. Let's see if he repairs. Again, angled, I am doing very well. Again, Citadels, hopefully no Citadels. Too shallow of an angle. So most of my shells just bounced, but thankfully for me, the enemy carrier takes him out, and I give him a nice thank you. So I have 1 ship killed, 52,000 damage thus far, and one thing is that the carrier's right next to me. I didn't expect that, but this is good. He can get his planes up very quickly to attack this New Mexico, and you've also might have noticed that a friendly battleship has turned into sea. I am, of course, waiting for him because I do not want to get spotted, and then there you go. I get spotted. It's okay, though, because I have 2 islands protecting me, so it's okay that I get spotted there. My hydro is about to run out, as you see there, and now I'm going to use my torpedoes. Yes, I'm going to use my torpedoes. This is way too close for my comfort. Really don't like to be this close to battleships, especially in this ship, but it just so happened that I found myself in this position, so I'm gonna help this friendly Tirpitz out. He's going full steam ahead. I'm going to try to make it through this gap. This 890 meter turning circle is certainly not helping me any, but yeah, looks like we're gonna make it. I of course have AP loaded. At this range, you'll penetrate their superstructure very, very easily. Enemy friendly Tirpitz launches torpedoes. He gets him down to a very nice 14,000 health. And I'm just going to be waiting, so I don't hit the island. And then shoot straight at the superstructure and do 3,500 damage. The Tirpitz does finish him off. And it's going to be kind of close here. This is going to be interesting. They're literally 0.2 kilometers from each other. So, yeah. And, oh crap, the North Carolina's guns are aiming right at me, but it doesn't shoot at me for whatever reason. I tried a Citadel, and I don't know, I just tried. Didn't work out. I'm quickly trying to turn my ship around so I can launch my torpedoes. Just get them off. I don't know if okay, they'll detonate 40,000 damage. And, oh, try not to hit him. Oh, it's going to be so close, so close, so close. But it's okay. He's got his, and this is the funny. That is so funny. I can't believe this is actually happening. 2 battleships just going at it. 0.2 kilometers. Battle of the secondaries, I guess. And thanks to my flooding, we take him out. And somehow, I swear we had ships before this encounter, but they've all just disappeared. So now it's, we're down to 4 ships against their 5. They have something capturing Objective Bravo. And we do have the point lead, but they have 2 caps. So slightly, still in the toss. It's still in toss-up range. You can go either way. But we have a battleship, or they have a battleship and a cruiser chasing down one of our cruisers. Don't know what cruiser that is, but an Atlanta pops up. So what do? I switch to armor piercing because you can citadel the living crap out of an Atlanta with these guns. You get 12 of them, so it's just ridiculous. But I do have to be careful though, because if I expose too much side, the Atlanta can citadel me back. So I do have to be careful in that respect. I see that the Atlanta is not in the prime. He's not turning yet, but he just started now. So I'm going to try and stay undetected for as long as possible to make him think that there's no ships here. So he will turn around and kind of head to sea, and he'll give me a broadside. So I start turning now, thinking it's about time that he's started his turn. Pop my hydro. I'm not sure if the Atlanta has fired torpedoes just for fun. I get 5 citadels there, break his engine. He went from practically full health, if not full health, down to no health whatsoever, and 2 salvos, he's done. So now it's 3v3. So I've taken out a ship, and but our friendly cruiser has also died, but he took out a battleship as well by burning him down. This Hipper is going straight for my friendly Tirpitz, but I will of course try to citadel him, waiting for the most opportune moment to send all of my shells out. Unfortunately, most of them bounce. The Hipper does have turtleback armor, so it is it's certainly not the easiest to penetrate. Try not to give full broadside. I do get 2 citadels there, but I think this Hipper is preoccupied, so I decide, well, I'm going to start turning in towards the Hipper and away from the Kutuzov, because he's, as you saw there, he's just setting me on fire. Sticking to AP here, hoping that he'll turn back around, as he's doing right now. Aim for a citadel, or approximately where a citadel is. No citadels. 6 penetrations, quote unquote penetrations. It's still kind of buggy. I don't know exactly how that system works. Will I take him out? I think I will. There we go. 1 over pen. Yay for the win. So I'm off to 160,000 damage already, and it's the game's almost over. I'm capturing Bravo. I most likely gonna get hit by this Kutuzov, just for the fact that I've slowed down. Oh, he missed. Oh, he hit me. Gosh darn it, he hit me. So almost had a capture, and then this Kutuzov just railing me, and then another fire. I'm going to wait as long as I can before I get around this island, so I can repair, because I really don't want to use, sit through another 30 seconds of fire. But I do it. I know I have the possibility of catching another fire, and it is 1 fire, but I just chose not to. Here I try to capture the objective, but it looks like my friendly Tirpitz is also on here, so he will obviously be getting focused, so I most likely won't be capturing this anytime soon. I've yet to use a radar though, so that is something that is interesting. But with only 1 destroyer, I wasn't able to use it that often. So it is kind of it is definitely situational. So I see that this Kutuzov's turning in, which he probably should be, so I, of course, switch to armor piercing, aim for his citadel along the waterline, and that should be him deleted. Oh my gosh, 500 frickin' damage, HP left over, but I think I'll still get him, and I do. I get my Kraken. 20 citadels, my god. I of course pop my hydro because I do not want to hit his torpedoes. That'd be rather unfortunate. However, I got high caliber Kraken. It's a good game thus far. Don't think this enemy tier 7 carrier will be that much of a problem for me in this turret. However, I believe he is about to die, or he's definitely burning or flooding, or one of the two. I do get a full base capture, and this is again kind of the reason why I use defensive fire. Instead of having these bombs attack my turrets uncontested and without any spread, it's unfortunate. That's why again I use defensive fire most of the time. My hydro is not going to shoot down any planes, so it's kind of a toss up to you, but I do manage to shoot down one plane. These are tier 7 planes. Now, with 5 minutes left, I'm thinking, I want to get the most XP and credits as possible. Because, I mean, why not? So, I'm going to head to Alpha, try and capture Objective Alpha. And, yeah, I'm hopefully trying to get the carrier as well, for a total of 6 kills, I believe. So, yeah, we will just be waiting for that. Yep, just waiting. I will do something a little bit silly here. I kind of wanted to kill him very, very quickly, so I do stick to HE because you want to cancel out that flight deck. So I do try and HE spam him, but I want to kill him at the end very, very quickly, and so I try to citadel him, and I just failed miserably. So I don't know where the citadel is on that ranger, but I do believe he does get Cleveland, the Cleveland's hull, so he does have pretty good citadel protection. But it's certainly not going to stop me from trying. I do get a fire, and hopefully that'll burning him down. I'm going to try to set another fire. I do get Confederate right there. And all my shells hit the island. Of course. But yeah, this game's pretty much over. Looks like I'll reach 200,000 damage. Hopefully I will. I really want to. Certainly it will be very, very nice to have. So, I'm gonna get on to Objective Alpha and hopefully capture it. I see that the carrier is turning around, so I'm trying to decide here which way I want my guns to point. I'm not sure. I think I end up deciding the right side. Yeah, looks like I'm doing that right now. Although I should have turned the other way first, but whatever. Enemy planes come in. They're most likely going to hit me again. I don't have defensive fire, so yeah, that's another reason why I don't. Why I use offensive fire. I can pretty much capture objectives uncontested against carriers. And then you see a fire. I switch to armor piercing right here, trying to get that really, those citadels really quickly. Aim too far ahead, and I just get a bunch of ore pens. 2 fires, instantly put it out, and again shoot. My first front guns get stuck on the island, but I do get 3 citadels for a total of 23 citadels, 210,000 damage, and the enemy friendly turrets, keep saying that, will finish him off. I do ground here, but this game is certainly over. Really wish I could have killed him, but got a lot of XP, a lot of credits. Moving to those credits and XP, I got 637k credits, 8k base, Kraken, high caliber Confederate, 210,000 damage total. I used my torpedoes. I got 3 hits, 2 floodings, 5 kills, 1 base capture, 23 citadels, which is, oh my gosh. I, of course, topped my team with no problems. 25 planes shot down, and this is without defensive fire as well. So, I mean, you can make the argument that you don't need it, but again, tier 7 planes, so I would still recommend it. 35,000, 3,500 base XP for the team score. Kind of see, I didn't do much fire damage. This game it was really mainly my armor piercing. I did get a good chunk out of my torpedoes, and then made almost 500k credits. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. Again, I'll be posting another video very shortly of how this ship performs in ranked, and I'll go over this kind of more in depth. But that is all for me, ElasticSpyder here from Brothers in Arms World of Warships, signing out.